Okay, so we're ready.
Ready.
Action?
Action!
Well, hi Kate, thanks for being here with us. For those that you don't know us, I'm Gloria from the GROWTHhub, and we have Kate O'More from Maker today with us. Maker is an incredible branding and graphic design company, and we'll hear more about it in a minute. So, welcome Kate.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, when you are a former student of DIT, now TU Dublin, tell me about your experience.
Yeah, well, like you said, I was DIT when I was here, and I was in the Mountjoy campus studying visual communications. And what visual communications is training to communicate through different visual mediums. So we learned quite a variety of skills in the course, including I suppose the graphic design and branding, which is the core, and then photography, animation, web design. You know, the variety was good for me because I like to work with variety in my job, and I find it's good for my workflow and I have that variety of projects to work on. So it really prepared me well for what I do now.
Yeah. And you know, when you say what you do now, so what do you do now? Now that you're an entrepreneur and that you have your own business, tell us a bit about the journey and why you're here now. What happened? What's your story behind of Maker?
Well, Maker is a branding and graphic design studio, as you mentioned in your intro, and we empower clients to do their best. To be at their best by providing those visual assets like branding and packaging and brochures and things that help them communicate their product or service. I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur, and I never thought I'd be sitting here with you talking about entrepreneurship. It was an unexpected path for me. Leaving college, I started into the creative advertising sector, which I really liked. It was highly creative, and you know, I really got to see how all of that worked and how the communication was with the clients and everything like that. And I had two paths in front of me. One was to go to London to see if I could get a job there. Huge creative hub, and I thought, I'll definitely get it.
Fabulous city. Not offense to Dublin.
No, no
fabulous
offense
city.
to Dublin. No offense to Dublin. And I thought the second option was to stay in Dublin and to make something of myself. To decide, you know, I'd make it work. And lucky for me, I had wonderful support from family, and particularly one friend in particular who had her own business. And she helped me set up, start the ropes as such. And I didn't even know I was setting up a business at the time. I started with a laptop. You know, like you don't need a lot. You just need that passion to start something and the tools to do it. So I had the laptop, and I was on the social welfare program, which encourages you to start your own business.
Oh, great.
And I suppose that's all you needed. So I had my laptop, I had that drive, because I had to make it work, because I had made that decision between London and Dublin, so Dublin had to work.
Yeah. And it's the time to do it, isn't it? Straight when your career's at the beginning and you don't still have like the mortgage, if you can afford a mortgage, of course, that it's not that easy. The car, the formal boyfriend or whatever, yeah. So on the journey there, you know, I heard before you telling a story of a lady that inspired you a little bit of pushing yourself and try it. A part of that colleague of you that helped you to set up the business. But is there any memories you have of a female that you thought, if she can do it, I can do it?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in college, we had speakers come in and talk about their own graphic design businesses, and you know, see how their paths worked out from the course that I did. But they all happened to be male, and although you can still be inspired by someone like that, I just never saw myself as them, which is understandable. So then I after I graduated, I participated in a creative program which involved graduates and creative agencies to get involved together. And I went into one of the agencies, and sitting there in front of me was a female creative director. And I had never heard of a female creative director before. I was so inspired that there could be someone who I could be. Like, I could be that person. I can get to the top of my field. So definitely meeting her and seeing what she had done was great for that role model that I could do it. Yeah. You know, I think you know you can do something, but when you see someone like you think, this is me.
Totally, yeah.
And I started the business age 25. You know, I wasn't long out of college. I'd gotten good experience in the creative industry, but for the students watching, 25, depending if they're mature students or not, can seem old or young. I don't know.
I know.
But I was very young starting the business.
Yeah. So I follow your business for a long time. We know each other for a bit, and I love what you're creating. And one thing I really surprised me. Well, a lot of things you do really surprise me. But one thing is, when the pandemic, we all were trying to get into Zoom and learning. I remember seeing in LinkedIn that you were already running a session online. And I wonder, is that something you had planned already? Did you know the pandemic was coming and you were having your online courses ready or seminars? Or is that something that, because of the pandemic, you said, look, you know what can I do now different? And you just did it. So tell us what happened, because I saw you start developing a lot of online content. So tell us a bit about it.
Well, certainly the pandemic pulled a rug right from under the business community. I was used to, I suppose, networking in person and things to create business. And when that was taken away, I realized I had to move online, because before that, 85% of my business came from in-person networking or referrals, which is very people based. And I had began already to expand my business into workshops, which worked with small businesses on branding workshops. So when the pandemic hit, this fire came underneath me, and I said, I am not letting this business go down. I have worked too hard for this business to go down. And I can't describe that refuel of ambition, but I'm sure other businesses owners felt it. And I said, I'm going to move what I had in person online. I already have the preparation behind it done, and it's time to move it online. I had never set up an Eventbrite event before. I barely knew how Zoom worked. People were just adjusting to Zoom. I had I bought everyone had the free Zoom for a while, but I bought the pro one. I thought, this is so expensive, thinking that I would only need it for a month. And well, I was wrong about that. And I brought the workshop online, and it was a great success, because people engaged with it, and people businesses found it useful. I got great feedback from it. And the pandemic, that's a kind of a dirty word at this point to use, but it changed the mindset, I think, of businesses in terms of providing more considered, resonating content, the quality content, not just posting for the sake of it. The quality of the content now mattered, and businesses needed to show up more professionally if they were going to communicate. This is the only way that they could communicate. So this was good for my business, good for what I do, because I help businesses communicate visually. So that helped. And from that insight, I developed over, a long period. Things don't happen overnight, but I developed the product called Maker Elevate, which is an extension of the Maker brand, and it helps brands to show up more consistently, more cohesively, um, in a course format that they can learn from and apply to their business with what they have. Because not every business is in a position to invest in branding services like Maker provides, and what I want to do is fill that gap, so that businesses could build strong branding foundations from the beginning, even just how they communicate. And I started something I always wanted to do with the business is a talk series, and I thought this is a wonderful opportunity to teach businesses through this talk series. So I have a number of episodes live now, which I'm super proud of, and have had wonderful, intelligent guests on it, which really, backs up everything that I'm doing. So yeah, if you want to look more on that, it's on the Maker Elevate Instagram. But that this new side of the business is very exciting for me, just to extend the brand a bit.
Yeah. Wow. And it's good, like you always have to be in the lookout and keep changing and keep adapting and keeping to the solution to see. Yeah, and another thing I wanted you to talk about is you run Maker as a sole entrepreneur. But how can you do it all by yourself? Or, because the quality of your material looks like there's 100 little midgets on the back doing it all for you. So what model do you use to run the business?
Yeah, Maker is run by me. I am a solo entrepreneur, and the model that I have chosen for Maker really works for me. So I can contract and expand Maker as I need it, and I do that by bringing in professionals who are amazing at what they do into projects to expand the skill set. So if I require copywriting skills or further web development skills, I can bring those in, and then contract it back down to me when I need to. This model is very flexible and sustainable for me. Obviously, if you're creating a product-led service, a product business, or you need a factory, you need people. Those businesses that hire quite early on, I admire them. It's a brave thing to do. But I've found that this model works for me, and I get to work with amazing people collaborating. I think running a business is challenging, so there has to be benefits to being a solo entrepreneur, right? And those benefits to me are freedom and time. I get to decide what projects I work on, who I work with, and the fluidity of the work. The benefit of me being the face and core of the business is I get to work with the businesses directly, and they get to work with me, and I help to empower them to, do their best, and I can provide all the visual assets for them to go about their business and succeed and try and open doors further.
Yeah, that's great, Kate. So what would be the key messages you would like to provide someone that is starting up or is thinking of starting on their own business?
I mean, it's super exciting. It's incredibly exciting and rewarding to have your own business. I mean, everything you're creating in that business, you did or your team did, and that's extremely rewarding. What I would say is that, like I said, I started with a laptop. You start small and you build and you build and you build. It's all about those small steps that you can take, and don't buy into the overnight successes. You don't know how long they were working on that project or how long that idea was being developed before it became, there was awareness on it. So be patient with that journey and just develop as you can. You don't have to do everything all at once, I started with a laptop, and then I got business cards, you know, and I had to save up for business cards because I wanted, you know, really high quality business cards because I'm a graphic designer. And I saved up for the business cards and then got the business cards, you know, and when I got a next job, I got letterheads, and, you know, they're kind of obsolete things now, but what I mean is that focus on the lean model, what you need first, and build and build and build, and be patient with the journey.
So tell us about the magic. So your branding, there's all these words like magic, and it's another sentence you say, I can't remember, you'll tell me now.
Yeah, the let's be amazing together.
Let's be amazing together. So how did you come up with that branding?
The language that I created for Maker, and with a copywriter, you know, because that's not my skill set, but the language that I built around Maker was all about that inspiring for the clients, you know. The magic part is the skill set that I input, and that's to instill confidence in the project and for them to know that it's going to be amazing. That collaboration nature that I addressed, the let's be amazing together, I do believe the process benefits from it being a collaboration, because I bring the skill set and that branding expertise in. But especially when I'm working with smaller businesses, they know their business inside out. They're the passionate ones about what they do. And my job is to extract that passion and that enthusiasm they have for their business and communicate that in a visual way, whether that's in branding, in packaging, or in animation.
So Kate, you've been in branding and creativity. You have to be all the time creating. What happened when you wake up one day and there's nothing happening? Do you take the day off, you go for a walk, you close the business? Or is there any tricks, or do you use a methodology for those days that, you know, that you just get blank?
You're right. The realistic side of the human brain is that we can't be on all the time. Especially as a creative, you are expected to be the most highly creative at all times, which we can be. But on those days where it's just, you just can't, there's a block. Like I said before, that variety helps me to unlock that workflow. So if I'm working on a piece of branding and there's something that I won't click, I move on to another project for maybe 1 or 2 hours, and then your brain kind of relaxes about the other project and you can get back into that workflow. So it's, you know, if you have that fluidity between your projects, it can help the brain to focus. Like if I told you to sit down and focus on a task for the whole day, you know, naturally our brains just wander off and it's hard to focus. So working on different projects in a day and having that variety helps me unlock that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just amazed with artists because, if you don't mind me call you artists, you know, like creative, all those ideas constantly and new, like when, for example, if you do a logo, every time a logo, every company is different. So you can't really, you need to understand what the company is and then out of that create the magic, you know?
Yeah, and as you said, every business is different. So the creative process for me involves a lot of observation. And observing what is unique to that business in order to visualize that in the branding or packaging.
Yeah. No, excellent. One thing I'm very aware is you've won several awards, not only with the local enterprise office, not only once, if not twice, and you've been nominated for other awards. So how does it feel?
Well, amazing, naturally. It is... I suppose when you're a solo entrepreneur, or an entrepreneur in general, to get that outside recognition of what you're doing is, you know, that you're doing something right, is a wonderful feeling. And particularly last year, winning the Entrepreneur of the Year with the Leo Dublin City, that was with the Women in Business Network. Particularly in that year when businesses had to adapt so well, and as I said, the rug was pulled from underneath us. To win the top award that year, that was incredible. It's just an amazing feeling. And previous to that, in 2019, winning the Rising Star, that means that you're doing something right. You're on the right track. And also in 2019, I was shortlisted for Entrepreneur of the Year with Image Magazine. And, you know, I applied for those awards, and I thought, you know, you never see the end of that. And then I got an email to say I was shortlisted. And Glòria, I thought that was spam. I didn't believe it. And I was like, why didn't that go into the spam folder? This is ridiculous. And I just didn't believe it. I just thought, there's so many applications, how could this be me? And I showed the email to a colleague, and he said, okay, I think that's real, you know? And I said, what? This couldn't be real. And I went out and I bought the fanciest dress I could find, and it was like a gold dress, and I looked like an Oscar statue, but to be honest, that's how I felt inside. So, you know, you can celebrate those moments, because no, you know, I didn't win, but I didn't care. I was there. I was with everyone in the room. I was a gold shiny ball. That's how I felt inside. And like, running a business has ups and downs, naturally. There's days where you're flying, and there's days where you're not going anywhere. And what I do to help me on those days that aren't as good as the good days is I have a folder, which I recommend that people do, and I screenshot positive feedback that I've got. I screenshot positive comments that, you know, comments of encouragement, achievements, pictures of the awards, everything, and I put them all in one folder, and I look at them then on days that aren't so good, and it's that little boost that you need on those days. And I suppose to students who are starting off, those little screenshots in the beginning of your business, you've no idea how important they will be later to see how far you've come.
Yeah.
And, you know, take pictures of you and your team in the beginning, and then you can look back on that and be like, we thought we were great then, and then in 5 years,
look at this now.
Yeah. So do make mental notes of the progress you're making, and if you're getting frustrated about how slow a business is progressing, that's natural. You know, everyone, ambitious people like me, you want to just get there, and you want to
yesterday.
You just want to succeed, but there's a patience involved that comes with growth and experience in dealing with your business and managing your business.
Yeah. So here, you just said the word growth. So here, the GROWTHhub, here in TU Dublin, one of our missions or intentions is to promote growth mindset, and it's into bring more entrepreneurial skills. You don't have to become entrepreneurial, but just to have the skills of, you know, look at the solution rather than looking at the problem. And I wonder, for you, what does entrepreneurship means to you?
To me, it means, it means excitement, really. Like, it's very exciting to create your own path and trusting your gut to actually route your own path that way. It means freedom. It means that you get to choose how you earn a living, and you get to explore what you're good at. You know, if you're developing a product because you believe there is a solution within that, it's very exciting, and it really, that's what gets me up in the morning. It's a great feeling, I think. Yeah.
No, that's That's great. I wouldn't call it myself a great feeling, but in my case, I just love the creation, that there's nothing and then there's something, and you are the one that created. That's what I like a lot about entrepreneurship. If you had one piece of advice for them, if they want to start their own business, what do you think will be of value? That would have been of value for you when you were starting up. What have you learned over these years you wish you would have known when you were 20? Now that you're 25.
Well, no, I'm not 25 anymore, Glòria. But I think it's not so much, I guess hindsight is a wonderful thing when you're looking back. And now that I've gained that experience and insight, it's very easy to give advice. It's not so much advice that I wished I'd heard as a student. It's more so the experience that I'd gotten. Experience with the real world. My course didn't have any touch points with work experience while I was there. So when I went out into the real world, I really felt like I was missing a whole skill set. So if I could give advice, it's that if you do want to start a business, gain that industry experience while you're still in college. You know, like talk to business owners, reach out, ask them the questions that you have, because they'll be willing to help students. And the more you know before leaving, the better prepared you are for the real world, which is a fast-paced learning space, not just in your skill set, but when you're running a business, there's so many other skills that you need to adapt. I'm a graphic designer and branding expert, but I need accounting, I need client management, I need business development,
social media,
content creator, social media manager, you know. And if you're lucky enough, there'll be people to do that, but in the beginning it's just you, and you have to do that. I suppose a program that I'm part of that I just really am behind, because I think it's a wonderful initiative, is the Infuse program ran by Dublin City Council, the local enterprise office, and many colleges around Dublin, their universities. And the idea, the name Infuse, it's fusing together students, master students in particular, but students and businesses. And I just love that idea that they can collaborate, because the businesses benefit from the students' fresh thinking and problem solving, in that enthusiasm for the problem solving and willingness to learn. And the students benefit from the business's real life case study. And I just love that interaction and the ability for students to get in front of real life businesses without the nerves, you know, because it can be intimidating, you know, walking into somewhere. We all know what it's like to be interviewed.
We do. We do, Kate, we do.
And it just removes that intimidation out of it. So reach out to businesses, maybe ones that you see yourself maybe in the industry of, and go for it. You can do it. Absolutely.
Go for that. You can do it. So, Kate, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time and for telling your story, and always a pleasure to see you, and absolutely. We hope to have you back very soon.
Thank you very much, Glòria.
Thank you.
Thank you.